You don't owe anybody. You owe no one but you. You owe you. You owe you to create the life that you want to live. You owe you to do the things that you would like to do that you have been putting off. You owe you. You owe you. Okay? I'm not saying we don't have obligations, we don't have loyalty and all that to our loved ones. We do. If you agreed to go over your mama's house and do X, Y, and Z, go do that for her. But you are not obligated to do anything for anyone that is not genuine from your heart. If you don't want to go over there and help your mama with X, Y, and Z, and today is not your day, mentally, physically, emotionally, that's probably something that you shouldn't, unless this is life-threatening, unless your mama is like, this is gonna mess up her life if this don't get done today. Maybe it don't have to be you. Like, maybe hopefully it's a task that you can delegate to someone else. Because if you're not in the mental space to do something, if you go and try and do something for somebody that you really don't want to do, it's not gonna turn out well. 9 times out of 10, the whole process of you doing whatever it is gonna be hellish for you. You're gonna be miserable. And I feel like, especially in the Black community, I'm gonna scratch that. In all communities, we feel that we have an obligation to our loved ones. We feel that because you gave life to me, or because you're my best friend, or because you're my partner, I am obligated to do X, Y, and Z. And you're not. Especially when whatever X, Y, and Z is does not serve you, does not necessarily, it doesn't benefit, it doesn't serve you in a way that will be healthy for you, that will promote your wellness, that will promote a healthy living for you. So if somebody is telling you, like, you gotta come to the club with me because you're my best friend and I want you to come, but you're not really a club person and you don't like to drink and be partying this and that, you're not obligated to do that. If your family is having a family reunion, but you don't have the funds to go, you're gonna have to sacrifice. Say, you know what, I can't go, I'm sorry. You don't gotta break your bank. You don't gotta go in debt because you wanna go on the family trip. What? Or the friends trip, the girls trip, over here about to slave away, rob Peter to pay Paul, all this so you can go on a trip because of the fear of missing out. So let's get back on track. You don't owe anybody. You don't owe anybody. You owe no one but you. You owe you. You owe you to create the life that you want to live. You owe you to do the things that you would like to do that you have been putting off. You owe you. You owe you. Okay? Do for anyone needs to come from a genuine place. And not that we all have days where we just don't feel like doing stuff. So I'm not talking about those days. The lazy days when we just don't feel like doing stuff, but we know we need to do things, we need to be doing those things. We have to find the motivation and the inspired action to get up off the couch, to get up out of the bed, to not be lazy, and to check the things off the list, get things done. I'm talking about the things that we know we don't want to do. And whatever that is for you, to each their own, that's your thing. But I know, because I go through it all the time, there are things that we genuinely don't want to do, that we force ourselves to do out of this feeling of, I have to do this. But if you don't want to do it, why are you doing it? To please someone else. And that's not how you want to live your life. Listen to your own advice. Listen to your own advice. If you giving advice to somebody else, but you're not doing that, why do you think that they would listen to you? My videos are also reminders for me to take my own advice. So take your own advice. Last thing, communication is key in all relationships. Communication is a key factor in all healthy relationships. And a lot of times we attribute healthy relationships just to our partnerships, only to our romantic relationships. But I am referring to all relationships, whether it's our parents, our grandparents, siblings, friends, co-workers. Communication is key. And I think that we, especially in this age of social media and texting, the automation of communication has, it's deterred us from wanting to communicate with one another. Even sending a text sometimes can feel too much. And it's like communication shouldn't be too much. And that's just something as a global community we're gonna have to work on, because it's just gonna get more like automated as time goes on. And we have to learn as a collective how to communicate and how to communicate effectively. We don't always like to tell people what we're thinking for real, or how we're feeling. And I think that therapy can help with that on one level. And we have to learn how to be vulnerable with people, with one another, especially our loved ones. It seems like people can be very vulnerable. It's crazy. Like, it's easy to be vulnerable. People that we don't know. It's easy for me to I feel like I'm not an open book. But I do think that I communicate my vulnerability more than others in my life at sometimes. But dang it, I lost my thought. I lost it. Dang. We have to communicate our vulnerability. It's easy to be vulnerable with strangers, people that's really not in your close circle. And that's the crazy thing. How is it? It's so easy to be vulnerable with people that we don't know. But it's hard for us to be vulnerable with the people that we do know and love, because we don't want to let them into our inner bubble, our inner world. And maybe it's social media, in a sense, because on there we can control so much. And so maybe in our lives we want to keep that same level of control. But I encourage you guys to build transparency with your loved ones, to become comfortable with being vulnerable in the spaces where you feel safe, and to communicate, because it feels better when you release the weight of the burden than for you to keep that in, to save hurting someone else's feelings, or to save the perception that someone has of you. That's not an even exchange. Because if you're really not being yourself, if you're really not telling people how you feel, what you think, then we're not being genuine. And I have seen that over time, that not being genuine just creates layers and layers and layers of baggage, pain, hurt, hate, just all this negativity, layers and layers and layers of it, that it will take years and therapy and other tools to peel that back. So that's what I learned this week. I hope everybody has a great day. I hope everybody has a great week. I pray that we all get inspired to do the things that we would like to do. And I hope that we're healing. I hope that we are being cognizant of the things that we are taking into our bodies. I hope that we are drinking water. And yeah, I gotta go to work. Have a great day.